I keep saying this, but this anime has got to be one of the best anime of this season. It continues to keep hitting home runs out of the park and continues to be entertaining, funny, everything above. Another great episode of the Apothecary Diaries, and this time we had two mysteries to solve, if you will. So, two different deaths. The key is both of them were around the fact of the kind of the title of the episode. Were they suicides or were they murders? In this case, the first one with the old man and his drinking, yes, it was a murder, but maybe accidental, maybe a prank, or maybe someone that really wanted to get against them. But over salting a drink, alcoholic drink, and making the guy die from way too much salt. And the second one, kind of still up in the air whether or not if it was a suicide or murder, but they wrote it off as a suicide, seeing how that they found a will, even though the way that Maomao was portraying it, that it could be a murder, but they just kind of just wrote it off and moving on. You think that it would just be that, like that was it of the episode, nothing more happened, but there's actually quite a few things that still happen in this episode. Continuing off the misconception that happened in the last episode, which was quite funny, you had Jinshi was kind of down in the dumps a little bit because of the possibility of what had happened with Maomao and this guy. Now, granted, it was cleared up by the concubine after she stopped laughing, because Lord knows I was laughing pretty hard about it. Yet and still, by the end of this episode, it was like their cat and mouse game actually came to fruition. Essentially, you know, you can see where Jinshi was saddened by everything that happened, but as the episode went on, he started to kind of get back to normal. Because at first he was down in the dumps, but then like this exchange right here where they were talking about alcohol, come to find out, apparently Maomao likes a little bit of the little sip here and there. And then he's like, yeah, about that. Yeah, there's a bill that might be proposed, you know, might pass here where you can't drink unless you're 20 years old. And then of course she gets this face like, no, don't do it. Which was a funny exchange between the two of them. I will say by the end of it, it kind of became a little sullen because Mama decided to bring up some things that were truths, but really hard to digest. After the whole girl fiasco with her dying and such, and they, for the most part, kind of had it resolved, Mama kind of reflected on everything that happened in the past. We were given like flashbacks of all the deaths pretty much that happened this season and all the little things that Mama had to do to get to this point. And she just kind of talked with them, was like, yeah, if you have to take me out, kill me, hang me, whatever you need to do, make sure you poison me, please. And of course he was taken aback by that, but she really had to break it down to him like, look, I am a commoner. You are someone of high class and of notice. If I say or do the wrong things, you pretty much have to take me out. I think he was really taken aback by it because he doesn't see her as a commoner. Because it's one thing to you kind of have the interactions with someone like, you know, almost like a workplace co-worker type deal. But then you got to be reminded of his stature and everything, and she's still lowborn. No matter how much he relies on her, uses her, and they work together to try to solve these mysteries, she's still a commoner in that she can be any type of mistake where it's like, well, goodbye, you're beheaded, you know, oh, you're just dead. Kind of like how we talked about before, that one lady in waiting that messed up and did the makeup for her concubine, that she could have just been taken out because that was a grave mistake, that she was still putting on the poisoned makeup on her. It almost cost the concubine her life, that she could literally just had her just killed off to basically allow her to come back and work for her, because she could have just like, you know what, you're gone, goodbye, you're dead at any moment because of their high status compared to the others. So he definitely didn't want to listen to this because he's starting to have a little infatuation with her. And so it was like, wow, such a serious tone that he definitely didn't want to deal with, but honestly probably needed to, kind of get hit in the face with reality. The good thing is the way this episode ended kind of finally got us back on track to one of the main overarching storylines. They finally found out who had some burns on their arm that could have been writing the secret messages. And lo and behold, it was the lady in waiting for this concubine, which I had said episodes ago that it's probably her that's involved because we don't know anything about her. Out of all the concubines, we have the main one that Maomao works for, and then we have the woman that's in blue that was the case that was solved before, and then we have the little girl-like concubine. So it's like, all right, we have some story with these three, but we know nothing of the purple one, really. And she's not involved in the story at all to this point. So I figured it's like, okay, she's got to have something to do with something here. And lo and behold, it might just be the case that she is behind the secret messages for whatever reason. We still don't know what these messages could be saying, and we assume it has something to do with the poisoning that happened at the garden party. With the few episodes that we have left, we'll probably know a lot more here soon, especially the next episode, because it looks like there's going to be a lot of stuff that's happening here. And I'm looking forward to it, because this show is so good. So, I mean, every time I look at it, I'm like, man, they outdid themselves with just the level of detail and graphics that's done on the anime alone, let alone all the comedic stuff and how it's funny and well written. It's, oh man, such a very good anime that I'm glad to be watching, and I hope you guys are enjoying as well. But regardless of that fact, that's pretty much it for this week's episode, and I think that as time goes on, we're finally going to actually get back to this, like I said, overarching storyline. Finally going to get back to this main thing with the messages and see what is going down. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the analysis, and definitely let me know in the comments below. Are you enjoying this anime as much as I am, or is there something that's kind of being a stickler for you? Definitely let me know, but make sure you guys are liking the video and make sure you guys are subscribed for more, because we will definitely discuss this one and several others on the channel here. You guys be safe, take care, Lord willing. I will see you next time. Bye-bye for now. Make sure to check out the extra content on our Patreon page, and thanks to our current patrons.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.